I believe the social media bullying and terrorism has played into a bias against me as the victim. Looks like there's a link to NBC News. What I'm experiencing is a online mob mentality of bigots, and it is unsubtle warnings to all gender oppressed people to be silent in the face of violence. She keeps on telling everybody she's got a PhD. I think that she has a PhD in victimhood, right? Victim mentality. Gender oppressed people. Shut up. Another day, yet another update into the Roda, the BrickFace Osman situation. It seems like this brickening saga is never ending now, with her attorney filing new motions to silence people, right? Like, it is absolutely fascinating to watch, and I can only conclude that they are scared, not only about losing the case, but the potential of her facing up to 10 years in prisons for her lies. I just hope that she keeps the exact same energy, the loud and wrong energy that she had when she accused the young man of hitting her in the face with a brick, and then also the energy that she had towards black men in general for not protecting black women, as she will has as she gets accountability knocking at her door. Let's review the updates and let's get active. So the big update, or the big reveal, is that yesterday, Roda's defense, her attorney, filed this motion to remove evidence from court proceedings. Let's review. To the honorable judge of said court comes now the defendant, Roda, brick-faced Osman, by and through undersigned counsel, her attorney, and respectfully moves this honorable court to instruct the state, its witnesses, and all parties to refrain from mentioning, alluding to, or introducing any evidence of the following matters in the presence of the jury without first obtaining a ruling outside of the jury's presence. This motion is made to ensure a fair trial under the Texas Rules of Evidence and Constitution of the United States and of the state of Texas. So what is the information that they don't want in front of people? Well, let's review. References to Daphne Sutton and someone else's name who's been redacted. Daphne Sutton is the queen of accountability who's had her foot firmly placed on Roda's neck ever since she made the accusations. Now, mind you, my last update I said that Daphne has been subpoenaed to testify because Roda has overtly and covertly threatened Daphne, allegedly. So the state of Texas wants to utilize Daphne in the courts to not only provide additional receipts, but also to testify in regards to Roda's character. The defense moves to exclude any mention, testimony, or references to individuals identified as Daphne and redacted, alleged acquaintances or internet commentators who have no personal knowledge of the facts of this case. Such statements are inadmissible under whatever the rules are of Texas Rules of Evidence. Any testimony from these individuals would be speculative, irrelevant, and unfairly prejudicial under Rule 403. I have one word to describe this entire paragraph, and that is fear. For you see, the defense will motion like this often because they find the testimony of whoever it is particularly powerful, and they will stop at nothing in order to not bring witnesses, powerful witnesses like this, to light. They, in fact, know that the evidence that you have against them, your testimony, will hold weight, so they'll try. And this is a request to the judge. The judge can decide after this if it is to be included, but it's a plea to the judge. Please help me. This person is going to do a lot. Let's keep it out. Now, I get it if they don't want to utilize stuff from my channel, right? Because at the end of the day, I am an outside person, just giving you guys updates and stuff like that. But Daphne was directly involved. Daphne made the call to the police department. Daphne highlighted the GoFundMe. Daphne provided receipts and evidence of direct social media threats. Daphne made calls to the nightclub. Daphne made calls to Olan, the person that she originally accused of the violent incident. They fear the jury hearing her name and providing this credible information or the actions that led up to her being caught. Now, I find it hilarious that they're trying to exclude Daphne from the subpoena or the court proceedings because Roda actually shot herself in the foot, and we're going to go over that in a quick second. Nevertheless, B, bloggers, internet commentary, and social media speculation, any references to blog posts, online videos, podcasts, or social media content discussing the alleged incident should be excluded. Such information constitutes inadmissible hearsay under Rules 801 and 802, lacks proper authentication under Rule 901, and risk inflaming the jury under Rule 403. Now, I think that most people would take a look at this one and say, oh, that must be stuff like MTR's commentary on the matter, even though I have documented evidence of her past vlogging incidents where she is being super unhinged, insanely ranting in different stores, right? She was at a hotel screaming at the hotel staff, talking about they're committing violence upon her. It was absolutely insane. She was at a Dollar Tree doing exact. All of this is documented on my channel. So I could be included in this, but you know what I think that this also is that she has been quiet, right? She's been taking to like Clubhouse and has been doing a bunch of Q&A sessions and stuff like that in regards to the situation. So they don't want any of the evidence being utilized, even if it came from her own mouth. And finally, and hilariously, they don't want her prior GoFundMe shenanigans to be able to be utilized or the Minneapolis incidents. The defense requests the court prohibit any mention of alleged prior fundraising activities, including any reference to a purported GoFundMe or incident in Minneapolis. Mind you, this is a case about fraud on GoFundMe, and they don't want to utilize the evidence from a prior GoFundMe. And people think that the prior one was a scam as well because it's part and parcel, like it's the exact same plan and scheme devised. Claim violence, show video of face damage, and collect money in order to fund a, lavishly dusty lifestyle. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. But they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now. Now, remember I said Roda shot herself in the damn foot? Well, back on the 22nd of January, 2024, let's look at the date real quick, all right? At 4:10 p.m., Ro reports, this is Roda's Instagram, uploaded screenshots of what she sent to the Houston Police Department, all right? Let's review. I believe the social media bullying and terrorism has played into a bias against me as the victim. Looks like there's a link to NBC News. What I'm experiencing is a online mob mentality of bigots, and it is unsubtle warnings to all gender oppressed people to be silenced in the face of violence. She keeps on telling everybody she's got a PhD. I think that she has a PhD in victimhood, right? Victim mentality, gender oppressed people. Shut up. It's intentional disinformation and malicious. Social media should play no parts of this investigation unless you guys are willing to take the thousands of threats I have received online in the past 2 months and have seriously. Where's my violin? If I could play violin and read at the same time, I promise you I would. My second grievance is the Houston police officers have unfortunately enabled even more violence against me by sharing information about my case and giving biased opinions such as she's untruthful, etc. Those recording between the police department and a Daphne Sutton, who I am also pressing charges on, is posted online on her page. So she's saying that Daphne, and her attorney is saying that she don't matter. She's not a part of the case, but yet you're writing notes to the police department of her importance to the case and swaying online sentiment in regards to your purported lies. It goes on to read that Daphne, she wrote a whole paragraph about Daphne, is a known agitator, liar, and online bully. She is selling t-shirts of my face after the assault to profit off of my pain. This was actually a lie. She has reached out to Olan Douglas about monetizing my trauma for monetary gain, which is not only deplorable, but also a form of violence. Yo, these gender studies Super Saiyans always utilize these things about forms of violence against them. She has lied about me over 20 times in the last 2 months. She has doxed my address and posted photos of my son, as well as invite others to attack me, all of which are not how Daphne operates. She's going to have to prove that. The fact that she has several phone calls with the Houston PD expressing extreme bias and support for the assailant is very troubling and disheartening. I haven't experienced one day of peace since this incident, and I am continuously being re-victimized, and it's so unsettling that the Houston PD has contributed to the violence against me rather than give me the justice I deserve, as he has already confessed several times online. When she says confessed online, he did say that he hit her. He didn't say with a brick, as what she said, but doing so after she initiated an assault, which is completely different context of what she set that GoFundMe up for, and completely different context underneath the guise of protect Black women. I am a PhD candidate, a teacher, a community organizer. This incident has changed my life forever. Yeah, consequences. I don't know when I will ever feel safe again, but I can at least start the journey of healing once he is arrested. Attached below all of this bullshit, including proof of Daphne Sutton witness tampering and harassment. Man, sure seems like Daphne's not important to this case, huh? And with that, I thank you guys for joining me on this roller coaster ride of content here today. If you guys appreciate the work that is done up over here, be sure to leave a like. I'm also going to leave a CashApp to Daphne's down up in the description box down below, so you guys can go over, support her. Of course, I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel and all that stuff as well. I think that the time that it takes in order to do this, and then also have time taken away from being in front of a microphone, you know, it hits. So I'm sure that help towards that is greatly appreciated. Hopefully this judge is not persuaded by this motion and can readily look at this and see how the things that are trying to be removed, specifically to a witness testimony, is directly related or removed in regards to a prior GoFundMe in a case about fraud about GoFundMe, how that is utterly ridiculous motion and will be dismissed. Nevertheless, keep locked to the channel, and I'm gonna give you guys as many updates as what I possibly can as this proceeds. I've said this once and I'll say this again. Stop lying. Stop utilizing the cultural narratives for your own monetary gain. If this is what's proven in court, then you should get 10 years. Justice would be served. And to be honest, I don't even think it would be enough time to justify the cultural bullshit that you put both Black men and Black women through. Shame on you. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR. He break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound when it's MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.